Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the meeting of the Policy and Finance Committee to be held on Wednesday 19th of October in the Council Chamber, Town Hall in Harpenden. It's now 7:30, so we'll start. Are there any apologies?
Only Councillor Heritage who will be late. He's got another meeting at District Council.
Okay. And Councillor James is not?
Not heard anything.
Okay, so presumably it should have been delayed. Any declarations of interest, members? No?
One point of information there, Madam Chair. If in a set of minutes that are included with this type of meeting you've declared an interest, do you have to do it again?
No.
Right, thank you.
No, otherwise that was for me. Not unless you're going to discuss the item.
Not unless we're going to...
Fine, thank you.
Yeah,
I just wanted to double check that things hadn't changed.
It does, but if we discuss an item and another set, you have to declare an interest. Chairman's report on urgent items. There is one urgent item. There is an item which has not been included in the list of activities to be carried out. It was just forgotten, which is the Ludica Park lights.
It's on the earmark reserves report later on the agenda. I'll give you more detail when we get there.
Okay. Are there any public questions in accordance with Standing Order 64?
No. No.
Okay, then we can move on to the minutes of previous meetings. I'll start with agenda item 5, the minutes of the Policy and Finance Committee meeting on the 14th of September 2016. Can I take that as a true record of the minutes?
Yes. Just remind members of our part of the minutes in exempt business, so if you want to discuss those, yes. Move accordingly.
Well,
the initial pages going through and right. Thank you.
And moving on to agenda item 6, the minutes of meetings referred to the Policy and Finance Committee. Minute 6.1, the accounts working party. Any comments on those minutes?
Yeah, just a quick, just to ask whether all the output from this comes through in the working party.
Yes, every meeting is held, the minutes will be come forward here.
Okay, thank you. Just for two things. One is, where is crossed out? What stage is that crossed out? Before the meeting or during the meeting?
It was recommended to the meeting and the meeting approved it.
Okay.
It was done before the meeting.
Any reason why it's crossed out?
Yes, because it was felt that that particular item, which was budget control, should come to the standing committees who have overall responsibility for their budgets. However, the working party will be receiving budget reports on monitoring the budget going forward.
Okay. I guess that was good.
Okay, now...
One other thing.
Oh, sorry.
Chair. I think we've probably got there before I did. 3.6. Recommended here, investments as detailed by the IFO be approved. Do we need to see the list of investments?
You can see the list of investments, no problem with that, other than the working party have looked at the list and approved them, which is why they're recommended to this committee. So I have a list here if you'd like to see them. Member's choice.
My question, should we not see them as opposed to do I want to see them? Yes,
I would tend to agree with Councillor Paul. I think we should see them.
There's a difference.
Madam Chair.
Yeah. In future, could we have them attached to the minutes?
Take one down to two.
I'll give you a few minutes to look through these and consider them.
It's paragraph 4.1 is the main one. Go forward.
Thank you. That's a one-off, isn't it? There's nothing coming up, surely, is it? Oh, it's all...
They are the current investments.
Yeah, they're just all over. I wonder when the next one's coming up. It's Lloyd's Bank, isn't it? And Lloyd's Bank.
It is.
Lloyd's Bank twice.
Twice coming up with. Yeah, and there's another one, Nationwide's coming up shortly as well.
Yeah, which he, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then at the beginning of next month as well.
Sorry, the first one has matured already then, is it 0710 to 116?
Yes.
Yeah.
What I'll be doing is updating this and going back to the next working party with updated investments. It's like a rolling programme. Because they're only investing on 3 or 6 months basis, as agreed by the policy.
So all we do is approving it.
Well, if we go through the minutes, first one is minute 3.1. Do we agree the amended terms of reference?
Yes.
Can I say a show of hands, please? Thank you, that's unanimous. And minute 2.6, investments. Do we approve the investments as detailed by the RFO on 4.1? That should be put in front of us.
Yes.
Georgie?
Oh, sorry, I did have my hand up.
Thank you. So that's unanimous. Thank you.
One observation, I noticed district use RPS, don't they, something managed to? Yeah.
Do they?
Interesting.
I'm currently in discussion with the district to sort of see what other investment
I'm not saying it's a good get, but
groups
yeah,
are out
I'm just
there.
wondering if there's
Try and see if
better ways
I can get better rates.
Okay, moving on to 6.2, the Christmas Carnival Working Party. I'll just ask to receive the minutes. Are there any comments on the minutes?
Yes, on page 7, paragraph 2, should that say non-pecuniary instead of non-prejudicial?
It should say non-pecuniary. It's under point 2. If we could have that.
Sorry, I missed that.
That's you, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry.
Right.
The question was?
Oh, sorry, my question was, should that be worded non-pecuniary interest instead of non-prejudicial? So sorry, it's a small point.
I think it's non-pecuniary.
So we use it district all the time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, that was the wording that was given to me by the clerk as well.
Sorry.
So I'm not making an excuse or passing blame, Madam Chair, and that was
It is a
yes, absolutely.
It's a nit.
Yeah. Thank you for that one, Councillor Coolidge. I shall remember in future. Duly admonished.
Okay. So we have the minutes from the 15th of July and the 1st of September. Any other comments or queries on those minutes? No.
Just noting on.
No, yeah. We have the minutes of under 6.3 of the Youth Town Council from the 7th of July and the 15th of September. Any comments or queries on those minutes, or are you happy to receive them?
There's only 3 people there, that's my comment. It's less and less.
I know.
They don't call it, do they?
They should do really, but it's been taken on trying to get as many youth councillors
It's
there.
counterproductive when I make a call, it wouldn't it? Can I make one quick comment? Maybe the youth council, maybe they need some sort of project or something, I don't know, you know. It's like
Well, being a mum, and not that long ago my son was at A-levels, July is in the middle of them.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a group of kids, 17, 18 year olds, turning up for a meeting at the beginning of July.
Yeah.
The only thing is that that continues through to September.
Yeah.
So I think perhaps if there's a start of school year, almost coming up to half-term assembly meeting, that we could encourage our youth councillors to...
Well, I would very much like it if you and Harry went out and spoke to them, because I think you probably get...
Yeah, it's just a matter of time, really.
I know it's a problem.
Yeah.
But what we'll do is perhaps speak with officers and try to arrange something and have somebody go and have a word with them about the fun they can have. But building on Councillor Cooley, if we could all put our mind around what sort of project we could give them, perhaps we could maybe link it to the leisure centre, because one of the things that they're considering for the new leisure centre is how we get the input of young people, and not the input mediated by teachers, but their direct input. And we could maybe give that to the Youth Town Council.
Yeah, that would be good.
It'd be nice to think that they're going into a workshop with them, because they're the younger generation.
Well, we were thinking of, I was discussing it with Councillor Daly on Monday,
Okay.
and we were thinking that we maybe have a workshop just for young people.
Yeah.
Oh, that would certainly be the thing that I would
Yeah.
possibly like to see hosted here,
Yeah.
and some formality from the youth town councillors in some formal way.
And maybe they could help lead it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Councillor Daly Warm to the ideal.
He's very well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
a lot of the youth will be from younger people.
Yeah.
So you ask the people who are going to use it what they want. Okay, so we'll take, can we take that as an action?
Yes, yeah, I'll come back to it.
I've got a closing date on the consultation.
Well, it's Saturday actually for the process goes on till January, but the current phase of it finishes on Saturday, but we could extend that to have a meeting with
Yeah,
them.
we need to be mindful of the closing date, if necessary, extend, just to include them.
Include them, yes. Okay, we'll move on to 7.1, and I will hand over to my colleague, who will talk us through the officer's report.
Thank you, Chair. This is a new report coming to this committee, and those of you who have read the Environment Committee agenda, it's the same process. It's an action tracker which I've gone back to recent committee minutes and highlighted particular areas where this committee has made a decision, and in order for you to sort of see the progress of those decisions and how it's progressing stage by stage, and then hopefully to completion. The idea being that for completion, it will go on to the full planner, which is the next report, as an item coming up at a said meeting going forward. On the action track, we've got at the moment our 3 items. The town hall meeting room, where works are due to start imminently this week or next week to sort of revamp and redesign the meeting room over the first floor across the way there. Second one is park hall annual decoration. We won't actually be doing this until early in the new year because we'll be going out to seek tenders for the decoration on a 2-year cycle. And Park Hall and Town Hall borders, where committee agreed last meeting to go out to tender, and we've currently just finalised the specification for that. So that's going out with the return date mid-November, I believe it is. So again, once that submission's completed, it will come to the next meeting of this committee.
Okay. Right, are there any questions of understanding on this?
Yes, I know there's two small rooms out here, or 3 rooms. There's nothing down the wall, is that the big one?
There's several walls coming down to make one large meeting room and a small adjacent sort of little office for a desk and a couple of chairs for a sort of small meeting.
Are we intending to hire it out, or is it purely things like councillors use?
It's predominantly for councillors, but we will be intending to let it out, well not let it out, but let the community use it for any meetings they might have. Currently there's a few community groups that are coming here, so if they're a small enough group then they could go in there and we could have another meeting in here for instance.
Yeah, there's, for example, the History Society has outgrown their downstairs office, and they would very much appreciate somewhere else to meet. And I believe there are other committees too. And it would mean that you could run things in parallel rather than all the time to
I think it's great. I can't wait for it to be done.
yeah.
Can I ask one small admin question? Were you not moving it on today, you would have to bring it on and show completed and then move it, wouldn't you, as opposed to losing it without?
Well, when we get to a stage where we know it's going to be completed or whatever, then it go on the track as I say, the report's going to come to that meeting with the details. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. One of the things we'd like to see moving forward is this becomes a RAG report, red, amber, green. But what we'll do is we'll start at the 6th and then we'll gradually make it more complex as we move forward.
Is any of this going to go online?
Sorry, but
It's going to go on the website? The tactics, is it?
the reports are, because all the reports go on the agenda.
Oh, so it's on.
Yeah, it's on there now. Yes, all links.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's just sort of noting the 3 items, whether there's any big questions.
Any questions? Okay. The forward work programme, the report is attached. Again, it identifies the projects which this committee has initiated, and who the lead officer is for each of those projects. But it's not giving any red, green, amber signs, and it's not giving, but it is giving when they're expected to be completed by. Any questions on this?
I just had a really quick question about why the 25th anniversary is being deferred to 2017-18. Oh, that makes, okay, so when is the anniversary? And what, is it being deferred to sort of next, is it like next summer, which is why it's not in this financial year? Sorry, just a question of understanding.
That's fine, that's fine. The idea was to sort of come to a meeting now to sort of get members' ideas of what we could do for the anniversary. But the actual anniversary is in 2019.
Oh, okay.
So
It's a bit early.
It is a bit early, but we were sort of trying to get the field process going.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to defer it till perhaps next June sort of time,
Okay.
with a view to put something in the budget for the following financial
Okay.
year, which would be the lead up to the anniversary.
That makes sense. I was just wondering, like, when is the anniversary?
Yeah.
Have we forgotten when the anniversary is?
Why is 25th significant? It's been going a lot longer than that, hasn't it?
Since we've had it.
Oh, since the transfer over.
It's actually, it was the old school home. It was
Yeah.
the school.
It
Back in the 19th
wasn't out
century.
in 74, was it? It wasn't on the HUDC.
No.
It was the original school for the area, so.
I've been along around too, so Madam Chairman, there's a site coming, it's been around since I remember it opening, whoops.
Well, so I think, have we paid for it yet? Is it still?
Yeah, it's all out now, all signed and sealed.
Okay, the merit award, the report speaks for itself. What we're being asked to agree tonight is not the merit award, but rather the process and the timescale. It's recommended that the people who have agreed the merit award has kind of changed year on year. Yeah, and it's almost been that whoever was available was asked to do it. What we're saying is that we change that so that it's always the town mayor, the deputy town mayor, and the past town mayor who consider the nominations received from members and make a recommendation. Of course, the final decision will always be made at council. The reason we're saying the town mayor, the deputy town mayor, and the past town mayor is that they are the people who are out in the community the most, and they have the knowledge of who is doing what in the community, so they are best judged to assess the nominations that come forward. But of course, any councillor can nominate.
That's my question, actually. We've only got a month, haven't we?
Yeah.
Do the other councillors know if we've got a chance? Is this going
They
out
have
on
an email went out last week
Yeah.
with the thing attached saying please get a nomination.
Okay.
It came out from James.
I'm sure I read it. I probably think I did, actually. I couldn't think of anyone, so I didn't read it.
I've got somebody in mind that I've been asked to nominate.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Could I then just ask for a matter of clarity, was it when it said and past town mayor, can we just say preceding town mayor?
Previous town mayor, yes. It's not a past, it's the
The one that
what
was
we want.
preceding.
What we
rather
want
than-
is the last one, the current one,
Yeah.
and the deputy,
Yeah.
because the deputy often, although not always, goes on to be the next one.
I have a quick question about, so, for example, if you could just because of obviously elections, and so what if you happen to, for example, the next elections in 2019, and the mayor who had just finished becoming the mayor at the end of 2019 decided to step down from the council, would they still be part of this committee, or do you have to be a councillor to be part of the committee?
You have to be a councillor, and at that point, this committee would have to make a decision on who would be, on what they would do. There would be a mayor and a deputy. But
Yes, but there would be the past
on the sub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a very long list, isn't there? Actually, all the people who received it. Which you can ask for, or at least you can have somebody to check if they've already got the award.
Okay, so do we agree to 1-1?
Yes.
Okay. 2-2, do we agree the date of Friday, 18th of November? Yep.
You might need to extend it if you only got one.
And 2-1-3, the working party meets the week commencing 9th of January and reports to council on 30th of January. Do we agree that timetable?
Yes.
That's also closing out. Okay. Right, park hall fees and charges. Does come back round on?
Yes, thank you, Chair. This report and the next one actually are regular reports come to us annually to give you an indication of what the current level of charges are for, in this case, Park Hall. And in this case, we are not recommending any increase for next year, principally on the basis that we did increase it last year, but also we had quite a large regular booking drop out, which we managed to fit it company, but the numbers are stable at the moment, so any sort of increase might sort of jeopardise the uptake of the numbers as a whole. So the recommendation is no increase in charges between 2017 and 2018.
Sure, full notes for the chair. I'll do it right. Councils get a 50% reduction, do they not?
Correct.
Providing there's not another booking on the same day. Another booking would take preference, wouldn't it? Not necessarily?
Not necessarily, no.
It is. I haven't done it for a while. I've used it quite a lot, haven't I?
Yeah, some councils have, and some offices have actually, to be fair.
It's still out there.
Yes, the office.
That's just to me.
Yeah,
Yeah, and me.
So again, it used to be free, but
makes quite a bit of difference. You know, any profits for charity or whatever. If you personally need, council needs to be part of the charity, don't you? Just can't simply.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Right, our recommendation is that the charges will not increase for 2018. But before that, is there any other questions? Or?
I was going to say, Paul summarised it very well. I think paragraph 3.7 for me summarised. After reading this through, 3.7 persuaded me that the recommendation was correct.
Well, it's always volume versus price, isn't it?
Yeah,
you put the price up, the volume drops, isn't it?
Yes.
So does anybody have...
It's a net cost, isn't it? Is that 4.2? So taking the income against the cost.
Yes.
And not having staff costs included, it's still costing 7,000. But we use it a lot ourselves, don't we?
There are some.
We don't charge ourselves. That would account for that. It's strange that it's out from VAT, is that, or is it a service, isn't it?
No, it's because it's a letting of a hall. Lettings are exempt from VAT.
That's interesting. Fine.
Okay. Right. Any other points? No. Right, then if we take 2.1, that we do not increase the charges for Park Hall.
Yep.
2018. Right, our next point is forum advertising charges. If you would like to read this off.
Okay, same principle as the last one, members. Forum advertising is where we put out to any businesses or groups in the town to advertise the forum that goes out quarterly. Members may remember last year we did come with a report where numbers have been dropping, so we were monitoring that as we're going forward. You'll see in paragraph 3.4 numbers have picked up slightly, they've slightly improved. But again, we're recommending no increase in charges, just to try and sort of maintain the numbers of adverts we do have at the moment. I will add though that the balance of the publication is not all adverts. We make sure there's lots of articles about the town and things that are happening and things that the town council is doing, and the adverts fill the gap, so to speak.
If I may say, the last edition of Forum, several people have commented to me how good it is.
People do read it.
As I said, Paul's been really hard with us 4 options, but the first one is no change, isn't it?
It's just that there in case members wish to consider it.
So, any questions on this?
like I said, there's 4 options. I'd move that we go for the option that's low.
No change.
We did not put the option A in the recommendation that we agreed to.
Yeah.
I'm being picky.
Recommendation says no increase.
Next one.
Okay, now let's go for option A and no increase. All in favour? Right, we now come to the heat of the evening.
Gets a bit heavy.
And I will let Paul have a glass of water
Okay.
before he launches into the budget. And please bear in mind, members, that what we're looking at here is not the budget itself, but is the parameters which are going to be used to set the budget. We won't see the budget till the next meeting. But what we're agreeing is what the assumptions and the parameters are. So, Paul.
Thank you, Chair. As already indicated, it's quite a lengthy and detailed report, and as previously, I've tried to sort of break it down into areas. I think I'd say there's probably sort of 3 areas to consider. The first one is in paragraph 4, which is the timetable, and it just sets out what's going to happen at which committees. So the Environment Committee will get their budgets, the next meeting of this Policy and Finance Committee will get all the budgets being proposed for next year, in order to sort of get a view of how it's going to the whole council. Either at the December meeting or defer it to the January meeting of this committee, we will be required to recommend a budget to full council at the end of January, based on whatever targets we agreed this evening and whatever the budget comes out to what we proposed. The next part is paragraph 5, which goes through a number of areas of what impacts on the budgets, inflationary measures in particular, with things like employee costs, contracts, general inflation, energy costs, and those sorts of things. If members have sort of seen the news this week, inflation has increased yet again. It's gone up slightly. CPI, which is one indices that we use, has gone from 0.6 to 1%, and RPI has gone from 1.8 to 2%. So there seems to be a trend of sort of slight increases. So the issue there is that the budget is going to have an impact next year. We're going to have to put build inflation into them, and because of the percentages, it's going to impact on the figures. The final area, which is sort of having a quick look at the budget for next year and how it's sort of panning out. And probably the easiest page to look at is page 40, where I've just sort of had a first stab at the budget and tried to analyse sort of what it's looking like for next year. On that basis, the first look is sort of saying that the general budget going forward is achievable. However, there are some issues, and look about halfway down to specific changes, there are some issues that are going to impact on the budget for next year. Being a staff review, we're going to lose funding from the District Council information point. Putting those items together, the budget is going to increase next financial year. It's got to increase next financial year. That's going to be my recommendation to members. On top of that, we've got some other initiatives that we're going to start looking at. Both areas that we want to put forward to the council in order to sort of improve our service, take services forward, look at service areas, how can we improve those sort of things. I'll give you a couple of examples, and I know Councillor Cooley and I have been in correspondence today. We're looking at disaster recovery through our computers. We're looking at playground improvements, those sorts of things. So all those details will come back next meeting, but just to give you a flavour, the figures I've got together so far is looking at about 8% increase. Okay. We've not had an increase in our presets our council tax for 8-9 years now, so we've been able to manage it going forward. However, we've got to a point now where we've got to increase it. We can't stand still as we stand now. So there are a number of recommendations for you, which basically approves those parameters that I've just described. But the important one being 2.2 is to give me some guidelines of what members sort of see as an increase in the preset for next financial year. And I'll be honest, I would say that we are looking at higher percentages, 5 to 7% at least. But it's really members' decision.
Let me put this in context and building on what you've said. We've had some, we knew they were coming down the line. Central government has reduced our council tax support grant. They will no longer get it, and that's a loss of £41,000. We have agreed at council to look at our organisation. We have been running for many years on a very slim organisation with people who work part-time, with jobs left unfilled. You know. We have to start addressing that if we want to continue to give a good service or even a decent service to our residents. And so we'll revamp the organisation, which will mean that we'll need to take on more staff and stop the current approach. To some extent, it's just filling the vacant position. Yeah. The third thing that's happened is that we have ambitions in certain areas. You mentioned playgrounds, and in some areas the playgrounds have fallen into disrepair. I know one where there is a 25, 30-year-old piece of equipment. Yeah?
That's one we control.
One we control. Yeah. We cannot let things get to the state where they just fall apart and you know, you're taking the equipment out and never replacing it. At some point you have to step in and say now is the time, and I think now is the time. Now this is in the context that we have not increased taxes for 8 years, yeah, despite the fact that inflation has been growing over that period. So our costs have been going up, even though it's been a small increase, our costs have been going up year on year, but our incomes remain steady. And we've been managing the difference by prudent management, and able to do a lot of things actually by very prudent management of the finances. At some point you have to make a bit of a step change, and this is the point. Now it sounds a lot of money, 8%, but 8% increase for a bandy council ratepayer is how much, Clive?
£6, £5.50.
£5.50
per annum.
per annum. So we're talking about increasing the average, not the lower end, but the average person's rate by 50p. Well, no, it's not even 50p. Is it? 5.50 is 10p a week.
So we're going to make a recommendation to council?
No.
What we are doing at the moment is we're just telling Paul to do the analysis, that's all.
Give me some sort of guidance. If you're happy to support an increase of 1%, 5%, 10%, or even a range, it gives me a bit more flexibility that I can put some sort of good figures together, look at the growth items that are going to come forward, and then be able to give you some options of how you can fund those initiatives that we're coming forward
Can I
with.
just, the last thing, which is so big I'd almost forgotten it. The government is about to change the rules for town councils. Up till now, unlike the bigger authorities, we have been able to increase our taxes. We have not chosen not to, because we live prudently. In 2017-18, the law is going to change, and to have more than a 2% increase, we will have to put it out to a referendum of all residents. A referendum will cost 100,000 to 150,000.
Ouch.
So, which is what you get more back from it.
Well, that means that if we had a referendum, we'd have to put taxes up by something like 20% to cover the cost of the referendum and have an increase. So,
Let's just make an observation. I mean, I've read through, it's a very thorough report. I believe all these pressures that we've got. We've had, we've been very good with keeping things the same. I've also read that £100,000 cost in the report. I just feel if we don't do this now, then we'll get into even bigger trouble later on, actually. And we want to be in a good financial situation.
if we don't start looking at a reasonable increase next year, we're going to be in 5 years' time looking back and thinking.
Absolutely.
And residents will not thank us for spending £100,000 on a referendum.
Doesn't look good in film, does it? 8.5.
unfortunately not.
So I think my opinion on this was a low tax. That's the reason that I got into politics, is that I'm a low tax, raise it as little as you can kind of girl. And I think seeing it, because I understand that it's only, the thing is it's only £5.50, that thing for this. And when you put that into that kind of context, you go, it's a no-brainer. And I think my initial concern is that if we would, that this would set a precedent for us raising taxes, because I really don't want it to become that. And I think my initial suggestion would have been, before Councillor Maynard, your comments just now about the referendum on the 2%, because normally I would have thought, okay, well, if we need to account for them, well, maybe 4% is a bit more reasonable, but that was kind of my thought process. But actually, I think bearing in mind what we have to do, we're considering the government's policy on this is changing, and that we have been very prudent and fiscally prudent in a great way for the last 8 years, that I think if we need to use this opportunity to do this now, however painful it might be, because then it will just become more painful in the long term. And I know that we've been cutting, or not cutting, but we've been doing our savings for a long time now to make the best service we can do, which we've done a great job of. But there's only so long that can go on for.
Yeah. You have to put these things in perspective, and I paid $5.49 for 2 coffees today in a local coffee shop.
Yeah.
Did we see this tapping coming down the line, or did it suddenly come out of nowhere? Because on one hand we might try to put a bit of precept increase in, but we was following what district they did every time.
That's right. This has been discussed for the last 2 years, but it's suddenly firmed up in the last few months, I believe.
It's been movement for about 6 or 7 years that I'm aware of, since I've been in this tier of government. But it's always been movers that talk about threatening to propose it.
Absolutely, it's been very much rumour and speculation. It's only now that it's
It's only now that it's actually firmed up.
And when we get on to the next report, give you a bit more detail on that.
Last 2 questions on information point. We're getting no money from this. We've had it. We've got any at the moment.
From the 1st of April next year, there'll be no money coming from the district council.
What the district council's thinking is that they have done research on their own information point. They have found that, in fact, it's becoming less and less of a channel to market. Increasingly, their view is that people will get their information digitally, and that what you have to do is start to put your investment into the digital and the phone channel. Yeah, they have looked at how other councils are doing this, and finding that the most advanced councils are stopping their information points, and they're moving to things like they're providing phones to people with prepaid numbers, and so people press the number. There's only one number on the phone. They press it and they get through to our call centre for their question.
Obviously, down the line, manning the information point is something that needs to be.
It's being considered at the moment. The reports come to committee.
The other thing.
But the district's view is that is a route that people are just going to use less and less and less.
I can see that.
And they're paying a substantial amount of money for it, and so they think that they should move that into other routes, other channels to market.
I was wondering if Nicky line, it's probably on the lines. We don't do any work on it.
No.
It's completely subordinate.
Yeah, St Albans is now responsible for the Nicola.
Councillor Sway's point, building on Councillor Callaghan's comments, which were very good. I think that if we explain to people things like we're losing £41,000 off from SADC, and that we're trying to improve services, and maybe we can point to 1 or 2 services that people are already complaining about, then I think that helps to explain it to people, and they'll support it if it's explained correctly.
Yeah, I'd like to build on Councillor Key's point. I think if we perhaps had a think about the ways in which we can position this to to the wider public and portray it in the way that it is going to be. It is going to be positive if we're able to do things like replacing playground equipment, and maybe that's something that we need to think about as our positioning of this.
Well, it's not just that, but there are ways that we could work with other councils to do things that are clearly of interest to residents, like weeds and pavements and, yeah. Because we all live in this town and we all want it to be as good as it can be.
I would say going back to page 40, which Paul says that it says 8.3, which is not give or take 8.5, isn't it? I think at this point we need to sign up to that and then let the rest of the council here have a nervous and due process.
Absolutely. Well, if we run through the recommendations, then are there any other questions before we do that?
No, so just comment from me, I'd rather see sort of a stepped increase rather than one big bang.
We can't do that.
We can do it.
We've absolutely, sorry, I've missed the point there slightly.
If we
How long have we got before the...
Next year.
Next year, right.
We've got it next
I'll
year.
withdraw that one, Madam Chair, sorry.
Yeah, right. So we can't,
Yeah,
I would,
okay,
but
too
we
late,
can't,
yeah.
yeah.
When you say next year, you mean the year after?
No, I mean next year.
We do 8.5
Mm-hmm.
for 2017, 18.
Yeah. No, if we put it in, we can get it in for 17-18. In 17-18, we can't get it in for 18-19.
That's what I mean, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Back to you.
2.1.1. Well, but no, before, are there any other comments or questions?
I did have another one, but it's gone out of mine now.
Okay, well, I know what it's like. If it comes back to you, just stop me.
Raise one more. I do believe Harpenden is starting to get very catty with all these weeds growing everywhere. And
I know.
If we can get rid of that. It was at the debate with that. It was a meeting we had with it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying what it was, when it was, but it has been brought up in discussion.
We have brought this up on a number of occasions, and I think the town council needs to act on this because it's just unsatisfactory.
And also the weeds and that will damage pavements and you know, the infrastructure basically if we don't stop. Is there anything we should know to this point on that? Any minutes or not? This could be a future. No.
No, let's focus on.
Yeah.
That's not on there. Okay. Right. 2.1.1. Do we agree the budget process and the timetable for 2017-18? Can I have a show of hands?
Yes.
Yeah. The 2.1.2. Can I have a show of hands that we've noted the influences and pressures on the town council budget?
Yes.
Do you agree the inflation assumptions as set out in 5.2? Agreed. Do you approve the guidelines for standing committees to review the budgets and any growth items as outlined in paragraph 5.4?
Yes. Just look at the 5.4 in here.
Do you consider and approve the level of general reserve as set out in 9.5?
We haven't talked about it.
700,000. Well, a comment on that. The level of general reserves is artificially high at the moment because there are projects which we are in the process of undertaking which will bring those reserves down to about 500,000, which is the level which is recommended to maintain for an organisation our size.
It's 9.1 isn't it, what they are at the moment?
Yeah.
Okay, we need to ask that question.
Right.
The stuff in the paragraph.
Okay, the next thing is, what do we recommend that we take as a target, as a percentage increase for the precept? I'll put, shall we say 4% to 15%?
But the sport has produced a set of figures for each percentage
For each percent,
point.
yeah.
As we go for 2.
I'd start at 4.
Yeah, I think we need to start at 4.
Say 4.
4, 6, well I'd say 4,
4, 2, 5, 4.
8, 12, 15.
That's without a lot of work for you.
If you narrowed the range it gives me the areas I can work within.
What do you mean by that? What percentage?
Yes. Because if you give me steps, that means I've got to set a budget to each of those steps.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you.
Or give me a maximum ceiling.
I think, is 15 not too high? Can we go 12?
I think that's, I wouldn't know the double figures.
Yeah, I'd be really uncomfortable going over the figures.
This is just to see the impact.
There is a reason to say 8.5 because of this first look, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah, but what we want to do is to see around that figure.
There's a reason. Yeah, let's not muddy the water. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, because that could be wrong.
Yeah.
So let's look at 4. We'll take 12 then. 4 to 12. And we'll look around that range and see the impact.
Yes.
I mean, if we're picking on the fact that, so we're just saying within that range, so bottom, middle and top.
Yeah.
We're picking up on the point that
If I do the figures and it comes
8.5,
out at, I don't know, 9%, then it's within the range, you feel comfortable with it at that point.
Yeah.
Obviously, you'll have a bit more detail, you can consider issues. If it comes in at 5, then you've got a bit of scope to depend on what new items or where I come up with
Or
as well.
consider whether you just don't.
Yes.
You don't aim percentage, you do figures and see what percentage
Yeah, it comes out,
in that range.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll that be recorded to the next meeting.
December meeting, but
Yeah.
the proposed budget will come to the December meeting, yes.
Okay, I don't think we had a show of hands, did we?
No.
I'll take them all together. I'll have a show of hands for 2.1.1 to 2.2.
Yeah.
Agreed. Okay. Right. We jumped the gun a bit.
Budget control next.
Budget control.
Page
Page 43, budget control.
This is just a first look at the budget control for this year. It basically sets out what the budget is for this committee in paragraph 3 and for the whole council in paragraph 4, and highlights some movements that have happened or been approved by committees already, predominantly the release of earmarked reserves, and attached are the appendices showing the budget and the actuals to the period of April to September this year. Just to give members an indication of where the budget is at the moment, but caveat being that when I come to the next meeting, I'll have projections for the whole of the year, so you're going to compare them for the whole year of how it looks alongside the budget for next year.
I've got a question on page 45, Westfield, which is my patch, George's patch. That is the 106 money, is that 30,000, isn't it? I'm guessing.
It is the 106 monies.
There's no more. We've got final balance.
That's
Well,
one of the things we're talking about.
The money for Westfield, that 70,000 is going to go on top of our existing budget, 40,000, so we've got 70,000 in that budget to do the whole scheme. We've already got 40,000 in our budget for that Westfield radio.
Right. Is that enough? There's a working party. Is there a working party?
There was a working party that firmed up the scheme and got it all approved.
Just to clarify, I think that, well, they've already started on the building, or the construction of the recreation. Let's drive down this and have a look. Should be completed within the next. Actually working on the field. I should know, shouldn't I? Oh. Okay.
Any questions? Any other questions? No? Any other questions? No, Callie? Thanks, Callie.
No.
Right. Okay, we've just been asked to note and approve the report. Associational funds. Thank you. On to the next item, which is the release of the earmarked reserve.
Thank you, Chair. What's happened so far is that there's been a number of items that officers are progressing, and the funding in order to progress these is sitting in earmarked reserves. The earmarked reserves policy says that Policy and Finance Committee must include the release of those funds. So what we put together here are 4 schemes that we're currently working on, indicating exactly sort of what the money is going to be used for and the amounts in question in recommendations 2, 1 to 4. However, as I mentioned at Chair's urgent items, we are looking to introduce another item into this report. And what happened is, back in the summer, at Lidico Car Park, we had an inspection of the lighting, and it found that of the 15 units, 6 were not even working, and 9 needed urgent works to them. We've since got some quotes for the works, and what was agreed was, under Chair's urgent items, Councillor Maynard and also Councillor Brian Elliott as Chair of the Advice Committee, we've already got those works completed, so that they will be in place for the nights drawing in and coming forward. While we were doing that, we also looked at relining Lidecker Car Park, making sure the space was nice and clear. The total of all those works is £3,700. So what I'm asking members for is approval of the recommendations 2.1 to 4 and the 2.1.5, release of £3,700 for Lidecker Car Park for lights and white lining works.
Okay, any questions? Councillor Heritage, we're on page 49.
Sorry, no, just half asleep though.
They have done some,
Leaning on my arm.
done some work on my, they've done the T's, haven't they?
Yeah.
We've finished all that, it's all done now, yes.
This is in addition. There's one question then. What was it? Yeah, Marcus Lane, is that the new method?
I went to see that. I walked that on Monday night. It was a long good time ago now.
We put a footpath through.
Yeah, what they've done is there is no the new edition Marcus Meadows, which we acquired about 18 months ago, 2 years ago. I had lain fallow for many years. We cut it for the first time in years this year to see what was actually underneath all that foliage. And found to our surprise actually that it was fairly flat underneath, because it looked hillocky. It's a fairly flat meadow. We wanted to be people walking through, particularly dog walkers in fact, had created natural paths through the meadow. We took advice from the Rivers Authority, who said that any path had to be 8 metres back from the bank for safety reasons and for protection of the bank.
Is that where they're walking people?
Well, in some areas they were walking closer.
Okay.
So what we've actually done is we've opened it up. The other problem was on the north side of Marquis Meadows. To get out of it, when the river was high, you had to walk through the river, which was good fun, especially if you forgot to put Wellingtons on. So yeah, I had to walk all the way back and to Bigginsville, or walk through the river to get out. They've moved the entrance further up Crabtree, so that they actually have an entrance, and they intend to put gates on that. So there will be a kissing gate on that, so people can easily go through. And they've delineated a path 8 metres from the bank, and they've positioned it so that you get good views of the river and the whole of the view from the river. Yeah. That was white lined out last week, and I believe the path is currently being put in, and it's going to be an all-weather path so people can enjoy it. The 2 advantages of it. The first is that people can actually walk without getting completely muddy, because a lot of people would be put off walking in it from this time, from now till the spring, because it turns into a bit of a bog. But the second is that by putting the path there, it keeps people on the path, and it protects the actual meadow, because otherwise they could just tramp through. What happens is the path gets wider and wider and wider as people avoid the muddy bits, and they start ruining the rest of the meadow. So So two things, and they've moved ahead with that.
Have we done what we want to do on all the other stuff? Because relations to the people,
There will be other things happening
yeah.
on it, and they will put forward proposals at different times. The volunteers are trying to get a walkway through another part of the Battersea Springs, which is further north, and it's near All Saints Church. There is a completely impenetrable part of the reserve, and what they're going to do is lower the barriers to it and let that slightly flood, so it turns into a wetland, and they're going to put a raised walkway through it, so you walk through a wetland situation, so you see, so they'll have a completely different ecosystem there, because it's a fresh spring, freshwater spring, plus the wetlands. They are looking to get grants for that. From
Yeah, a lot of migratory birds are coming into.
we already have grey herons. Yeah, grey herons appear there. I saw 3 down there one year.
Well, yeah, on that side, I've quite frequently seen usually twitches down there, so obviously there's
No,
quite
the
some
great
interest.
stork. I thought there was something. It was a quite unusual bird for this country, and the heron is there all the time. There's what do you call it? Kingfishers.
Yeah.
Down there. So there's a wide array of birds.
Is it a bit like riding? We don't want to publicise it too much, otherwise it will lose its tranquility, you know.
Well,
Or
certainly
people
all
just
of that.
find out about it and then use it. Is that what we're doing? Okay.
People tend to find out. People who live locally know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yes, it's certainly tried by again, man. It's certainly one of those not for mass publicity.
No.
We don't want to be bringing in droves. It's one of those by word of mouth usage places.
People don't realise it's there.
Got a bit off track.
Yeah.
It's a twitches.
Okay. Well, we're on your marks reserve. Is that sufficient explanation? Don't get me going on it. Okay. Any other questions on your marks reserve? No. Okay, then let's take the recommendations. Do we agree that 2.1.1 Town Hall and Park Hall upgrade of CCTV system costing 1,440? Agreed? Unanimous. The neighbourhood plan reserve of 53,440 in order to commence work on the plan and require processes to bring forward a plan. Yeah, we've agreed we're going to do it, so we need to release the money. 2.1.3 retail partnership grant funding of 1,290 to support working with the retailers for activities leading up to Christmas. Do we agree? Yeah. Okay, that's unanimous. And the Market Lane footpath giving improved access, which cost £3,012, but we'll put £3,000 towards the total cost of the scheme. I think they got external grants for that as well, actually.
There's one grant and some other funding elsewhere in the budget.
Yeah. Okay, do we agree that?
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you very much.
We've got 215.
215, please.
Oh, sorry, 215, the Lydic Park,
Yes, lighting and
lighting and relighting,
3,700.
3,700, do we agree?
Yep.
Yes? Yes?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, we've talked a bit about precept capital, moving on to the next agenda item, but I'll let Paul recap the precept capital.
Okay, there's two parts to this report. The first one is the recap, which we've already sort of touched on the budget report. And the recap basically is that in 2017-18, government are proposing that for local councils, which is parish and town councils, they will set some thresholds for the level of council tax that we set. And if that is exceeded, then they will impose an increase of a maximum of 2% if our precept is over £500,000. If we increase over the 2%, then a referendum will be triggered and we'll have to sort of put the budget out to the public. The threshold currently is £75.46, which is the lowest district council council tax in the country, which is obviously quite a small district, I guess. Currently ours is £57.52. If we do increase by say 8%, as we saw on previous pages, it goes up to £73, so we're still within that threshold for 2017-18. But for future years, it will be based on the 2% increase, so we'll have a maximum of that before the referendum is triggered. That's the first point, just to recap. The second point with this report is that this is a consultation document at this stage, and to be honest, when consultation documents come in, they tend to come into force at some point in the future. And what the document sets out in one part of it is some discussions and background towards the precept capping and a number of questions. And in section 5 of the report, page 54, I've extrapolated the questions pertinent to the precept capping, listed the questions for you, and made some suggested responses to the consultation documents. The deadline for these responses is the 28th of October, so hence why it's come to this committee tonight to consider these responses. Members are being asked to consider these responses. Feel free to duly amend them, or if you prefer a day or two to sort of consider some responses, send them through to me, and then if you're agreeable, we will make the submission to the DCLG on the comments that's agreed against this consultation document.
Right, can I raise an extra point? It is very good the way this is worded. I think another aspect is that the district council can decide they don't want to pay for something, and then we end up picking up the cost, and that's out of our control. So it's another point as well.
It's in there, isn't it?
Is it in there?
It's localism, we have to pay.
Are you talking about devolved services?
Yeah, the district council could decide they don't really want to pay for some aspect, and we have to pick that up.
Well, no, we don't necessarily have to pick it up. We either stop doing it or pick it up.
Oh, okay, right, I understand.
Apply agreement, well,
Yeah.
Okay.
oh, listen. They could, balance their books, they could shove stuff on us, but,
There is indication in the document that if you do take on a devolved service on fiscal authority, that it's inevitable that your council tax will increase above the threshold, and they have indicated they will allow for that.
Oh, okay,
Into that,
thank you.
because it is skewed because of that devolvement. The idea being that the district council or the fiscal authority has reduced theirs accordingly, so the overall effect to the council tax payer is nil.
So it doesn't, sorry,
So the money
so it doesn't then trigger the referendum.
The money has to follow the activity.
Thank you.
this special is still money, it doesn't affect this, does it?
That's the district council's,
It doesn't affect
it doesn't affect this, no. No, this is on this tier of local government, towns and parishes.
Any other questions?
I've read it twice, and I couldn't get any better answers.
Yeah, I read it several times as well.
You've got a deadline today. When's the deadline?
28th of October.
Maybe that one next week. That's the second week.
Sorry, just a minor tiny point that I noticed that really annoyed me. On bullet points, we shouldn't have full stops
Yeah, you're
at the
right.
end of bullet points.
Yeah, I know. I think
No, it's just really very, as someone who does
It's fine.
anything.
I'll give you the formal thing which I was right. You can have them, but if you have them once, you have to have them through the whole document.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, okay.
You can't mix it up.
Okay. Sorry. First thing I was taught in my job.
Yeah. It's because people, if you don't get people to do it one way or the other, they mix it up. Yeah. Okay, any other questions?
I think, sorry, just to reiterate the point that we're making in the first question, 5.2, is we were opposed to the introduction of this threshold. So the first point, no, we do not agree. So that's the key message we're trying to get across in the presentation.
In a sense, if you think about it, it's ridiculous because the towns raise such a low amount of money anyway from an ordinary taxpayer.
And we as a large town council work off of a small parish council.
Yes, we are.
We are, that's small.
Sorry, I'm going to raise it up. I mean, the cost of the referendum is so exorbitant.
Well, you could never
So
do it.
you can't do it. No.
If you ever did it, it would have to be to raise taxes by 20 something percent. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that, sorry, I probably should have said this before, I think perhaps it's one of those things where if they are going to have they are going to invoke a referendum if you go over a certain amount, it should be much higher than 2%, and it should be for excessive additions to taxation, because it's just like what happens if inflation hits 4-6%?
No, it's tied to inflation.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Right, that answers my question. Thank you.
One of the points I've made is that they need to also look at history. So if you've had no increases or minimal increases, and one year you have to increase it because of you want to improve services or whatever for your community, that should be allowed for or taken into account.
So it goes against us, not increasing it year on year.
Yes.
Okay, are we ready to go to a vote? Yeah? Okay, 2.1.1, consider and note the consultation documents with regard to the proposals on the executive street lighting group. Do we have an agreement that we consider and noted? 2.1.2, consider the proposed responses to the consultation document as outlined in paragraph 5. You've made no amendments, and instruct the clerk to forward these comments to DCLG. Are we happy with that? Okay.
Can I ask one question? HAPTC, what's the review on it? Do we know?
My understanding is that they're against it.
Correct.
They're the same as us.
Yeah.
I'd like to think we're on
I've got a copy of their response.
I'd like to think we're on the same tap as them.
Up there, goes to, I can take it through to you.
As long as we're against it.
Indication is that what I've seen is everyone's opposing it.
So we might do a slightly more notice, them say it.
For a referendum, it's ridiculous.
It makes no sense to the size of organisation. Okay. Right. The internal audit plan for 2016-17. Any questions? Well, would you like to introduce it very briefly?
Very briefly, last committee members agreed to reappoint SIS as internal auditors. I've been in contact with them, and they forwarded their plan of areas of business that they want to inspect when they come in. They're actually coming in on the 8th of November, that's the first day, and this is just to give members a note of the plan that they could be looking at. But we do need to recommend it to council as part of our requirement and the procedures.
You know that it's all embracing everything, is it? Everything else complete.
It's pretty comprehensive. Can cover quite a bit of area. Again, if there was a particular area that members wanted to sort of feedback on, then we could sort of talk to the auditors and say, can we have a focus in on that?
Otherwise, they're qualified there.
No, the internal auditors don't. No, they just review our internal controls and our procedures.
It's not
And would make recommendations on
the
those procedures.
qualification one, is it?
No, that's the external, which is next May, June.
Right. Yeah.
So this one will actually set us in good stead for the point at which we have to fix
They review the procedures, yes, and the annual return, which I have to do for year-end accounts, they review that and sign it off as well.
Right.
What goes on to the external auditors.
Any other questions? Comments? I think it's a good initiative and sensible questions. Okay, the recommendation is to resolve to recommend to Council that the internal audit plan for 2016-17 be approved. Can I have a show of hands, please? Again, unanimous. Okay. And finally, that's the last agenda item, and there are just the exempt minutes of the meeting from 19th of October 2015, which we have already agreed. So I can now close the meeting at 8:40. Here you go.